Hello, welcome everyone. Very glad you're all here today to learn more about Forwardly and get Forwardly certified. Today we're walking you through the partner certification workshop and we are genuinely excited to get into it with you. I'm Jane Ingram and I'm joined by Aaron Ma, our customer success manager at Forwardly. Many of you already know Aaron. He handles demos, onboarding, support, and works with our partners and businesses day in and day out. So here's what we're going to cover today. Who Forwardly is built for. We're going to go over a live demo of the platform and a walkthrough of onboarding, payments, auto payments, pay by card, and how banking and business information actually works on the platform. We're also going to get into why clients choose Forwardly and what it actually means to be a certified partner. We'll also leave plenty of time for questions at the end. That's the point where we're also going to get to the Q&A questions that were submitted when everyone registered. Throughout the whole call, I'll be in the chat answering any questions you have. And after we go through the Q&A question submissions that weren't already answered by the workshop, we'll summarize and re-answer the questions shared in the chat for anyone watching the replay. If you're watching this live on the Teams app, you're going to see 4 quiz questions pop up throughout the session. These are all part of the certification. To earn your Forwardly certified partner status, you'll need to get at least 3 out of 4 correct. Everything is based on what we cover today, so if you're paying attention, you should be fine. And if you're not using the Teams app, those polls are going to come up in the chat with the question, and just answer the question in the chat to get that certification. Now, let's get into it. Now, before we actually get into the demo, I want to take a minute on who Forwardly is and who it's built for, because that context really matters when you're recommending it to clients. So first off, Forwardly is a payments and financial operations platform, and we're built for high growth, US-based businesses only. We help them move money faster, simplify how they pay bills, and we cut down the manual work around approvals and cash flow. Our focus is on removing the friction from both accounts payable and accounts receivable so that businesses spend less time overall chasing payments and more time running their business. Forwardly is built for those fast-growing businesses that want more control and visibility over how money moves. It's a strong fit for businesses handling a high volume of bills, managing multiple approvers, businesses that are frustrated with checks and slow payments and want to move to a digital-based payment solution, or if they're simply outgrowing manual processes. We're also built with accountants and finance teams in mind, so it fits into existing workflows rather than adding to them. Now, who's teaching this session? Well, I'm Jane Ingram. I'm the Director of Operations and Marketing at Forwardly. I work closely with our partners day to day, so if you've reached out to our team, attended a webinar, or visited a booth at a conference, just like our upcoming Scaling New Heights attendance, there is a good chance we've already crossed paths. Excited to be here with you today. I'm also joined here with Aaron Ma, who will be conducting our live demo. Aaron, would you like to take it away?
Yeah, so similar to Jane, I've been with Forwardly for about 3 years now. Have about 8+ years of customer facing experience and also have an undergraduate degree in accounting, so very familiar with what accountants go through on a day-to-day basis.
All right. Aaron, the demo is yours. Did you want to share your screen?
Yes, let me quickly share my screen here.
Perfect. And as I mentioned, I'll be going off camera, but I'll be in the chat. So please feel free to throw your questions in there if you have any. Thank you so much, everyone. See you again at the end.
Awesome. So let's first talk about getting started. All right. So when you first sign up, you will be asked for email and phone verification. So all users will, or all signups will need to verify both the email address and phone number. So one important thing to flag is that we do require a valid US non-VoIP phone number. Now, one of the primary questions that we usually get during the sign-up process is, do a business need an accounting software or system in order to use Forwardly? Well, the short answer is no. However, connecting an accounting or ERP software does come with its benefits. So it does send payments, invoices, and bills automatically. And businesses can use Forwardly, however, without an accounting integration. So you can create your invoices and bills as well as your entire customer list directly on Forwardly as well. All right. Now, however, at this time, we do not integrate with any CRM systems such as a HubSpot, for example. All right. So with that being said, I think this would be a good time to throw up the first quiz question.
Perfect. That's going to be going live in just a moment. As I mentioned before, if you're in the Teams app, you should get a little pop-up and you can answer there. Otherwise, please add your response to the chat.
Now, one additional distinction that I should mention is that Fordly is strictly a business-to-business platform. So we are designed for domestic payments between one U.S. business to another U.S. business. So that means payments to and from sole proprietors, 1099 contractors, LLCs, nonprofits, and other business entities are all supported. However, consumer to business or business to consumer or even purely personal payments are outside the scope of the platform. All right, now once you have signed up for an account, you'll be brought onto this page here. Now, for advisors managing multiple clients, Fordly does have a centralized firm dashboard where you can add all of your clients to. All right, so once you have your client set up, once you have your business set up, then you can add all of your clients, or you can set it up as a new client or join an existing client if your customer already has a verified Fordly account here. Then from there, you can kind of toggle this drop-down menu and switch between businesses as you see fit if you're managing multiple businesses' payments. All right. Now from there, we can move on to both the accounts payable side and accounts receivable side. So on Fordly, you can both receive payments from your clients as well as pay your vendors on our platform. So first, let's touch base on the accounts payable side. So in order to pay your vendors, all you would need to do is hover your mouse over the pay button here and go into bill payments. From there, you'll see a dedicated inbox for each business that you add, so your business or any of your clients' businesses, where you can forward all the bills to, and it will show up on this list. Now, once it's on this list and you click on continue, we do have an AI bill capture system that will pre-fill most of these fields here. All right. Now, if you have that accounting integration, once you create the bill, we will also sync this bill back into your accounting system. Alternatively, you can also create your bill directly in your ERP accounting system, and it will also show up on this list, or you can manually upload the bill onto this list as well. All right, so once you have the bill ready to go, let's just say, for example, you wanted to pay Roberts and Associates here, you just need to find that bill, click on view. From there, you can punch in the person that you want to pay's contact information. And you can also choose which bank account you want the money to be withdrawn from. And you can also add as many bank accounts as you want. From there, you'll also be able to choose the payment speed and what you want the payment to be processed as. Now, by default, it'll be processed as a standard ACH payment. So standard ACH payments usually take about 3 to 5 business days to process. However, it's also the cheapest option. So the first 5 that you send out every single month and the first 5 that you receive every single month will be free. Then thereafter that, it will only be 50 cents per transaction. We also have faster payment options available as well, such as next day, same day, and instant payments. All right. However, we do charge a bit of a premium for the faster payment options, and they are 1% per transaction. However, they're capped at $10, $20, and $30 respectively. However, if you do sign up over the next month, we do have a special promotional pricing over the next 12 months here, where for next day, same day, and instant, you'll be charged 1%, but it'll be capped at only $3, $4, and $5 respectively. So this is actually a very good time to get started here. Now, one thing of note is that Fordly does not support paper checks. So if a client of yours, or if you guys, or if your business, pardon me, is currently paying vendors by check, then those payments will need to continue outside the platform for now. It's kind of worth setting the expectations, especially with your clients upfront. All right, now, once you have everything ready, then you can also choose the processing date. So you can choose today or a future date. And if you didn't want to pay that the entire amount to your vendor, you can also pay them a partial amount. Now, depending whether you have an approval system set in place, if you don't, then you can simply send the payment Once you click on send payment, what we will do is we will send your vendor an email. That'll look a little bit like this. I'll say that, hey, Jane and Aaron's looking to pay you X amount. And on the email, there'll be a link for your vendor to accept the payment. Once they click on the link, they'll be brought onto our platform, in which they'll be required to confirm a few basic details. They would connect their bank. Once that's completed, they'll punch in their business name, verify their mobile number, then the payment will be in progress. They'll have the option to create a for-day account if they say wanted to track their payments as an example. However, it's not mandatory. All right, so that's kind of what it would look like. Now, if you do have your vendor's banking details, for qualified businesses, you could have the option to actually add them beforehand. So if you wanted to do that, you would just need to hover your mouse over paid and go to vendors. From here, you'll see a full vendor list that we have either pulled directly from your accounting or ERP system, or you have added them manually directly on Forwardly here. So let's just say, for example, with Bob's Burger Joint, if you have their vendor information already, then you would just need to click into their vendor card and click on add bank details, and you can actually add the banking information beforehand. Alternatively, you can also request them to add it beforehand so that once you send them the payment, then it'll just be deposited into their account. Another thing that I want to touch base is approval policies. So if your business or any of your clients' businesses have a more stringent approval system before payment can be sent out, you can actually add that onto Forwardly as well. So if you, for any business that you add, and if you go to settings, you can actually add as many users as you want to that particular business by sending them an invitation, and you can give them specific roles and permissions. And you can even add custom roles and say that, hey, for this particular user, I want them to be able to view the inbox, but I want them to be able to manage due bills. So you can definitely play around with a lot of the different permission settings. But once you have all of your users and roles ready to go, then you can set specific approval policies. So you can see that for this particular demo company, any bill that's between $100 and $700, then Aiden would need to approve it before the payment could be sent out. But you can actually add layers to it. For example, first Aiden needs to approve it, then anyone from the billing department needs to approve it, then finally both Jane and Aaron needs to approve it before the payment could be sent out. And you can further customize it and say that, hey, for this particular policy, I only want it to apply to these handful of vendors. All right, and you can set as many approval policies as you want. All right, so with that being said, as well, once you have the approval policies set in place, all right, and you already have your payments sent out, and you can actually have an track the audit log to see who has actually approved the bill and where that bill is. All right. So with that being said, I think this would be a good time to throw in the second quiz question there.
Yeah, it should be going live in just a second. As I mentioned, if you're on the Teams app, please go ahead and answer there. Otherwise, please throw your answer and write it into the chat instead. Thank you very much.
So this would be a good time to move on to the accounts receivable side. All right, so accounts receivable side works very similarly to the accounts payable side, but instead of going to pay, you would go to get paid and enter into invoice payments. So very similar to bills, all the invoices that you see here, we have either pulled and fetched directly from your accounting or ERP system, or you have created them manually directly on Forwardly here. If you have the integration and you create it on Forwardly, we will also sync this invoice back into your accounting or ERP system as well. Now, what I'll do is I'll walk you through what it would look like for a one-time client, and then I'll walk you through our more reoccurring or subscription-based feature called auto payments. Now, let's just say, for example, here, Gita is one of your one-time clients, and you've already created an invoice for her. What you would do is you would click on view here, and from there, you can again punch in Gita's contact information, and you'll be able to choose the processing speed. The processing speeds are exactly the same as the payable side, and the processing fees are exactly the same as the payable side as well. On Forwardly, there are actually no monthly subscription fees. It's more as a pay-as-you-go type of model where you will only get charged for the type of payment speeds and the amount of transactions that you process. All right, so once you have everything ready to go, you would click on send request. And what we will do is we will send Cheetah, your client in this example, an email say that, hey, Jane and Aaron's looking for a payment from you this time for X amount. On the email, they can download this invoice. Now, if you wanted to customize this invoice a little bit here, you can absolutely do so by going to settings and go to preferences and invoice branding, and you can actually upload your logo onto the invoice. Now, once they have reviewed everything and they're ready to pay you, they'll click on send payment now, in which they'll be brought into our platform and they'll go through a very similar workflow where they'll confirm a few basic details, connect their bank. Now, depending on whether or not you have activated credit card payments, if you have, then they'll also have the option to pay you by card. If you wanted to activate credit card payments, then after your business gets verified, all you would need to do is go to settings here and go to payment methods and go to accept card payments. And from there, you'll be able to submit an application to our credit card processing partner. And once you've been accepted, then you can also have the option to pass the credit card processing fee, which is 2.99% on our platform, back to your customers if you choose to do so. All right, so once they have chosen their method of payment, then they'll again punch in the business name, verify their mobile number, then the payment will be in progress. Again, they'll have the option to create a 4-day account, but it's not mandatory. All right, so that's what it would look like for more of a one-time client type of experience. However, if you have recurring clients or if your clients have recurring customers, we do have a feature called auto payments. And what auto payments is, for its namesake, is that we would essentially automatically collect the payment for you on the due date of the invoice once you have onboarded that particular client as an auto pay client. And in order to onboard them, what you would do is you would go to get paid here and go to customers. And from there, you'll see a list of customers that, again, we've pulled directly from your ERP accounting system or you have created manually on Forwardly here. Now, if you wanted to set this up with Amy here as an example, then you would click on view to Amy's customer card, and you would go to the auto payments tab and click request authorization. When you do that, what we will do is we will send Amy an email basically saying that, hey, Jen and Aaron is looking to automatically request payments from you. Do you give them consent? If they say yes, authorize auto payment, then we bond to our platform in which they'll go through the exact same workflow, looking for a few basic details. They'll either connect their bank or card, depending whether or not you have cards activated as that auto debit option. And then they'll confirm business name, verify the mobile number. The exception is that the very last step, they'll digitally sign this pre-authorized debit form. Then once they click on authorize, then they'll officially be onboarded as an autopay client. This entire process shouldn't take more than a minute. Now that Amy's been onboarded as an autopay client, then every time you create a new invoice, whether it's on Forwardly or in your accounting or ERP integration, on the due date of that invoice, we will automatically collect that payment from you. All right. Now, a question that comes up a lot is if the invoice date and due date are the same, we will actually pick the invoice on that date and schedule it on the next business day. All right. So sometimes this catches clients off guard, but for example, if you have the invoice date and due date both on July 1st, and if July 1st fell on a Monday, then we will automatically schedule it to the next business day, which will be the Tuesday, all right? Because we do need to send that notification out to your autopay client, letting them know that, hey, just as a reminder, we will be automatically processing that payment on behalf of Jane and Aaron, as an example. All right, so as well, you could set up recurring invoices to further automate things. So you can set up recurring invoices either on your accounting or ERP system, or you can set up recurring invoices directly on Forwardly by creating a schedule. And again, by creating recurring invoices, then every single month, an invoice will automatically pop up, and every single month on the due date, we will automatically collect it. All right, so with that being said, I think it'll be a nice time to throw in the third quiz question.
All right, that is going live. We are getting some questions in. We do have some questions coming in the chat. I am writing out some responses for them now, but we'll be answering them, of course, by voice at the end of the session. Aaron, we did also have a request for you to speak a little more slowly. So
My apologies.
If you could do that,
Yeah.
that would be great. The next poll is live. Please feel free to fill it out. Otherwise, yeah, there we go.
Yeah, and if there are any requests for me to go back and cover a section prior, feel free to drop in the chat and Jay will let me know and I can definitely do a quick rewind there. All right, so one other question that pops up quite frequently about auto payments is the scenario where you need to send a one-off manual invoice while auto payments are still active. So this might be a scenario where you're doing some type of one-off work, maybe at year end, and you wanted to pause auto payments. You can absolutely do so by, again, if you go to get paid and go to customers, you just choose that customer that has the existing auto payments. So we can use Amy as an example again. So let's just say Amy already has auto payments authorized. If you go to their auto payments tab, there'll be a button for you to basically click for you to temporarily disable auto payments for that client. From there, you can send that manual invoice. After that, then you can re-enable auto payments. All right. But at the present moment, there currently is no way for you to pick and choose which invoices are excluded while auto payments are active. All right, so again, this is also worth flagging to clients so they can plan accordingly. All right. So with that being said, we can move on to banking and business information. So when you do verify or when you do start an account, you would need to verify your business. So whether it's your own business or your client's businesses, each business would need to get verified in order to initiate payments. So in order to get your business verified, you would just go to settings here and go to business profile, and there'll be a button for you to go through verification. Verification is fairly simple, and you would require a few basic type of documents, such as your articles of incorporation, your EIN verification letter, and some type of proof of business address. So this could be something as simple as a bank statement or a utility bill that shows the business address and the business name. As well, we would need the beneficial owner or owners of the company to also verify their identity. But once you have everything submitted, it does take our compliance team anywhere from 1 business day to 5 business days to verify everything. But once it's been verified, then you can absolutely go ahead and initiate payments here. All right. And another thing is that on Forwardly, you can add as many bank accounts as you want. All right. So there are a few ways or a couple of ways that you can add your bank account. So the preferred way would be to add your bank account via Plaid, because Plaid will instantly verify your bank account. So that takes a little bit of the back leg work off of your plate. However, you can also connect your bank manually by entering the routing and account numbers. Unfortunately, we use micro deposits to verify manual connections. This is a natural requirement where 2 small test deposits are sent to the account, and then you, or if you have added your client's businesses, will be required to confirm those amounts. The process usually takes an additional 1 to 2 business days. All right. But Plaid connections, as I had mentioned beforehand, verified instantly using secure bank login credentials. So Plaid is always kind of the preferred method because it's also faster, reduces friction, and unlocks faster payment options sooner as well. All right, so that's one other thing that I would need to mention is that, yes, we do have multiple payment speeds available. However, when you first start out with a Forwardly account, you might only see standard payment speed available. But once you build a banking history and the Plaid connection also helps, then eventually the faster payment options such as next day, same day, and instant will become unlocked. All right, so this will be a good time to throw in the last question for the day.
All right, that is just going live, and it is a multiple choice, so I will be copying and sharing the possible responses into the chat for anyone who is not on Teams. So if you're not using the Teams app, just hold a moment and I will have those answers or possible answers copied for you to choose from. Back to you, Aaron.
Awesome. So um, With Forley as well, we do have an AI agent. So our AI agent basically is there to just scope any abnormalities within the business. If they see, for example, duplicate invoices or bills in both Forley and in your accounting ERP integration, it will flag that just to kind of give you a heads up before anything happens. But you can control the AI agent by clicking on AI controls here, and you can give them different types of permissions as well. All right. But with that being said, the last thing that I wanted to kind of cover over here is that you can also see all of your referral information in the referral and earn tab. You'll have a referral link that you can copy and send out to your clients. And if you didn't get certified today, you can also always get certified by clicking on the get certified button, and it will take you to our quiz as well. All right. And as well, once you sign up for an account, if you do run into any technical issues or you have any questions, you can always get a hold of us by going to the support portal down here. And from there, you can submit a ticket to us, and one of our team members will be able to help you out there as well. All right. So that kind of wraps up today's certification training. And with that being said, I'm going to pass it back on to Jane and see if there are any questions that we need to answer live here.
Yes, I am just going through and answering some questions now. We've had quite a few great ones, so thank you so much to everyone for adding in their answers. Those are fantastic, and we've had so many good questions come in throughout this call, so please keep adding them. I'm just going to go ahead. Usually I'd share my screen now. Erin, please keep yours open because I think we'll probably have to go back to it to answer some of these questions we've gotten. But for now, I'm just going to quickly switch right back to the slides, just for a hot moment. All right. And I still do have those answers coming in the chat as well. So now that we've gone through the demo, if you've answered the questions correctly, you'll be getting your certification shortly in the email you used to register for this session. If you didn't, you won't be getting the certification. So you can still get certified easily. Either join us on our next training session and re-answer the questions, or what you can do is we do have a multiple choice exam available on our support center, and you can always go ahead and take that. All you need is, I believe it's 32 questions, right? And then, it's multiple choice. Everything is answered in this recording. So it's pretty simple to fill out. As a Forwardly certified partner, you'll get a few things that are worth highlighting. First, you're going to get your official certified partner badge. This is something you can either use on your website. Some people throw them in their email signatures or on their LinkedIn profiles, whatever you want to show your clients and prospects that you've been trained on the platform and you know it well. The other thing is that we're actually building out our partner spotlight program. So we're featuring certified partners through dedicated profiles on our site and across our social channels. If you're interested in your firm being featured, please reach out to us at help@forwardly.com and inquire there, or wait for our email. We are messaging select certified partners to say, hey, your business seems interesting. Can we interview you? So if you get that email, book a meeting with me. Let's talk. Let's do the interview. I would love to showcase some of our certified partners. And finally, certified partners have extra access. So they have extra referral incentives over our typical referral partners. When you, as a Forwardly certified partner, refer a business to Forwardly and they join the Forwardly Business Network, that means they get verified as their business. You're getting an extra referral reward for that business. So pretty nice. So today we covered who Forwardly is built for, what the platform does, and how it fits into the workflows your clients are already running. We walked through the certified partner benefits, your badge, etc. And we've talked about, the referral process. You're going to get a link. There is a link in the Forwardly app attached to your business that says this is a referral from you. Please go ahead and find it there. Once you share that link with your clients or your referred businesses, they do have to use that link in order to get verified, in order for you to get the reward. So if they sign up separately, like they just go to forwardly.com and they don't use your referral link, you're not going to get the reward for their sign up. But if you refer a client, you earn the reward. That's it. So now for our live Q&A chat. If you do have any questions, please add them in the chat. If you're watching a replay, you can reach out to help@forwardly.com or visit support.forwardly.com to submit a ticket using our form. You can also review us on Capterra, I guess now G2. They just purchased it and did the switch actually in the last week, I believe. So please, leave us a review. Reviews are very helpful for us. We are a small business ourselves with under 100 employees, and everything is, every bit counts. So if you've used the product and enjoyed it, please let us know. If you have any issues, reach out at help@forwardly.com. Now, let's get to some of the questions. I'm just going to start from the top of some of the questions that we received during the registration process. And I'm just going to start from the top of the list and go down. So can a firm run the AR and AP for a client using Forwardly? Yes. Yes, we make it very easy. I think Erin already talked about that. And you get a special accounting dashboard. You can very easily give access to your team members. There's a lot extra that goes into that accounting platform. Accounting, like an accounting firm business. If it's not clear already, please reach out. Let's get you on a demo with Erin one-to-one so you can be shown those exact features with him, and we can figure out exactly how to best get your clients on board. That kind of white glove service is what we're always here to offer. We also had a question about what accounting systems is Forwardly currently in partnership with. I think Erin already answered that, but the question also asked, are there other systems like Asana, HubSpot, Concur, and Navan that Forwardly have or possibly could work with in the future? So right now we only work with accounting and ERP systems. We don't have any specific plans to work with, CRMs or project management software. However, we are very client driven. So if we have multiple clients come to us and say, we need this integration, please build with it, help us develop with it. This is needed for us and we want to switch to Forwardly, reach out to our team. For the right business, we can always look at that kind of partnership with you. It just depends on your business. But at this time, we don't have any specific plans for any of those requested specifically on that question. Otherwise, what was one of the other ones? We also had a question about payments in Africa. Unfortunately, as Erin mentioned, we only support US businesses and only domestic payments within the US. We don't support any international businesses or international payments. Other one is, how proactive is the AR? I think Erin has already kind of covered that. If you have auto payment set up, it's very proactive. We did have a question in the comments, actually, in the chat that I was in the middle of answering via text. So someone asked how the invoice date can be before the due date, right? Because that was a question that we asked in our quiz. When should the invoice date be? The answer is, as Erin kind of said, the invoice date is a separate date from the due date when you're creating your invoice. So to be efficient, our system doesn't actually pull all invoices from the connected accounting system at once. It's only pulling invoices with a current date within 6 months. So for instance, if Erin is my client and I need to bill him and his payment is due next Friday, right? And it's Monday and I'm creating that invoice, right? I could set the invoice date as Monday, and then the system would read that invoice and be like, oh, it's due on Friday. The invoice, I created it on Monday, but it's due on Friday. So that would give the system days to actually read the invoice, schedule it, notify Erin that, hey, an auto payment is coming on Friday. This invoice was created on Monday and now it's due on Friday. If you create the invoice on Monday, but you make the invoice date Friday and the due date Friday, the system isn't going to read the invoice until the invoice date, which is Friday, which means it's going to have to spend that day to notify Erin and say, hey, Erin, an invoice has been created. You are set up on auto payments, so it's going to go through automatically, but you're being notified today. So we give a day of notification to your clients that they are going to get a charge. We're not just going to send that notification and charge them that same day. That's not really that's not how the scheduled auto payments works. You can always push through payments a little bit faster, but that's That's not how the auto payment system works. So if you create the invoice date for a day before the actual due date, that ensures that the system has time to read the invoice, send the notification, and start processing that payment on the due date. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm going to add it as well as text in the comments. Aaron, anything to add there?
No, I think you covered it very clearly there.
Yeah.
So
So another question that we got was, what is the fees for accounts payable? So I already added those in the chat, but just to recap, standard ACH, you get 5 free sent and 5 free delivered per month. After that, it's 50 cents each. For next day ACH, same day ACH, and instant payments, all of those are 1% to send or receive. And then all of them are a minimum of $1, but then the maximum changes depending on the payment speed. So for next day ACH, your maximum payment cost is $3. For same day ACH, your maximum payment cost is currently $4. And for instant payments, your maximum payment cost is currently $5. I should mention that those costs are currently part of a promotion we're running. You do have to sign up and do a payment before the end of June in order to qualify for these rates. Once you send that payment before the end of June, you lock in these prices. And there's a possibility we'll extend it, but right now that's just the pricing for right now. So if you send the payment now, you'll lock in those rates for 12 months. Other question was, is there a place for someone to enter bills, someone to approve them? Yes, we do have our bill inbox. As Aaron showed, we have a dedicated inbox for bills for each business. You can either forward emails to it, provide the unique email directly to your vendors, upload documents to it, or you can just skip that and enter the bills in manually. We don't use OCR technology. We're actually using AI instead of OCR. The nice part about that is it does start about as accurate as OCR, which isn't very accurate, but then because it's using AI to actually read the bills and review and put them into context within your system, it gets quite accurate over time. So for instance, we actually use it in our own, for Forwardly, we use that to pay our vendors. And it's about 99% accurate after a month or so. It's very, very accurate, especially when it's recurring vendors. It just gets so good. Do we have a place for clients to fill out the W-9? We don't currently have a place on the platform to send clients a request for a W-9, to fill out those details. We do have a spot on the vendor record to save tax documents, but not not request them. However, I know that that's planned. It's on our roadmap. They're just still working on it. If you really need that, reach out to us. Let us know at help@forwardly.com. Every time somebody requests a feature, that goes into a feature request list and gets a little tick box. And, we go over that list pretty regularly with our product team to be like, this is what people are requesting. So this is what people want from the program. We did also get a question as well about, tell me about privacy and what happens to my data and client data. Who gets my data? I'd love a little bit more question. I have a follow-up question to that. You own your data. Who gets your data? We have our banking partner. Everything is kind of covered in our terms of service, who we're sharing your data with. We have to do a certain amount of KYC, know your customer and know your business, for anti-money laundering and anti-fraud laws, in order to basically identify and make sure that you are the business you say you are the person you say you are, and the person you're sending, if you're sending odd transactions, we have our own safety verification to try and make sure nothing fraudulent is going on, right? Otherwise, outside of working with our identity vendors and then banking vendors, if you're using credit cards, we have a credit card vendor. We work with Phoenix. Outside of that, it's just us that's using your data. We're not providing it anywhere else. So yeah, we don't sell data. Everything is covered in our TOS. So if you have any specific questions about that, please do reach out to Help at Forwardly. I'd love to have a more in-depth conversation about that. But in general, yeah, what happens to your client data it depends on what client data you're adding to the platform. Nothing is shared that you don't want to be shared, if that makes sense. Aaron, do you have anything to add there?
You basically, like you mentioned, the terms of service basically covers a lot of what Jane had mentioned. So I would highly recommend just going through that as you're signing up there.
Um, Otherwise, so Helena asked, what about the due date upon receipt for invoices? Aaron, so I believe if it's due on receipt, that would just make the due date immediate, right?
Yeah, so if it's due upon receipt, usually the invoice date and due date would be the same date. So again, we would process it the next business day in that instance.
Yeah. So I'm just adding in for Monday. Uh, yeah, so hopefully that helps. And then we were also asked, does the program also do bookkeeping GE for what is entered? I'm sorry, I don't understand that question. We don't do bookkeeping. This is just a payments platform. So we generally connect with the accounting system and, we're doing that sync back and forth between the accounting system. You don't have to connect to an accounting system if you don't want to. Oh, journal entries. Okay. So Aaron, do you want to answer that?
Yeah, so again, like as Jay mentioned, we don't do any bookkeepings or any journal entries. However, once the payment is completed, we do push that information back into your accounting integration and mark it as paid.
Yeah. So that's more about the sync. If you have a specific process you're looking to make sure is going to be covered for your specific firm, again, reach out at that help@forwardly.com and let's get you on a support call or on a demo, and we'll make sure that it works specifically for you. Yeah. All right, and I think that's everything we had for today. Oh, we also had how long does it take to typically fund a transaction in terms of days? Again, that depends on the payment speed you choose. Not all payment speeds are available from the get-go when you create your create your account and add your business, but generally the longer you use Forwardly, the more payment speeds become available. And then for your first bank payment on the platform, if you connect your bank account manually, or if your client connects their bank account, or like the other um, the other business involved in the transaction, if they connect their bank account manually, then that will add a delay to the payment speed just for that first payment, because of those natural rules that say that we do have to like verify that the bank account exists. So that can add sometimes it's as quick as 1 day, sometimes it's more like 3 business days, unfortunately. But again, that's a one-time thing that you know typically isn't a huge deal. And on the second payment, it wouldn't happen with recurring or any further payments. Yeah. So I guess that's it. I don't see any more questions coming in, and I think we've covered all the ones from the Q&A submitted. So yeah, thank you so much everyone for joining us today. We will be sending out the certification shortly, the certificates, and yeah, it's been great having everyone here and having such a lively audience. Thank you so much. All right. Have a lovely day, everyone. And as usual, don't hesitate to reach out if you need anything. Thank you so much. Bye.
Everybody.